Welcome to our race reaction uncut. We're doing something a bit different today, aren't we?
Sounds
We're
good.
doing an uncut sort of, thing where mistakes, reaction of the Miami Grand Prix. We're going to ignore the rest of it because the actual Grand Prix was the most exciting part. Glad I watched it, put it that way, because I was actually semi-considering not bothering. But we did, and I did watch it, and I was very happy I did.
I watched the timesheet, which probably wasn't as enthralling as the Sky Sports and whatever coverage, but...
I woke my house up. So when Norris... Oh, hang on, where's my hat? Oh, God, I forgot my hat. Sorry. There we go. Forgot my hat. Now I feel better.
It looks so wrong.
It doesn't look wrong.
I haven't even got... Oh, it has got McLaren.
About it, yeah?
I couldn't even see that.
Anyway, right, it does have McLaren. Yeah, this is a limited edition. I got it a couple of years ago.
No, I can only see golf from the side.
Well, it's a golfing hat with McLaren on it. No, I'm joking. But anyway, brilliant. If you can see by the result, obviously we're not going to start with this, but McLaren, second win in 12 years. Fantastic. Lando got there in the end. I was so happy. I woke my house up, jumping up and down. Big McLaren fan. So happy. And we beat the Ferraris.
I can't believe it's second win in 12 years. That's insane.
Mental, isn't it?
I'm so used to... I suppose I grew up in an era where if it weren't Ferrari winning, it was McLaren.
Yeah, I mean, since Lewis Hamilton left, they've only won twice. That's crazy, isn't it?
That's a very odd statistic. Yeah, I suppose I knew that, but in my mind, you don't...
No, you don't
process
compute it, do you? When
Yeah.
you think about back in 2007, 2008, even the early 2000s, even 2010, you know, they were winning races. You know, Hamilton won every year he was there.
On a regular occasion.
Yeah, and
odd.
but we'll go from the start. So obviously we'll push the excitement to the end now. We'll go to the start, the race start. Sergio Perez forgot where his brakes were. Sorry gap, almost took Max out. Would have been quite funny, but he didn't. It was a really, really, really close, wasn't it, at the start?
It was sort of one of those moves where you just went, why? What has possessed you to do this? And yeah, it was, I mean, you look at Sainz is on board and he's seesawing at the wheel to avoid the crash. And
just about did. Literally just. I mean, it was. I don't know how, seeing those onboards and everything, how he missed Max. And
it was close. It was definitely.
Yeah, and even to Mr. Ferraris. No, it wasn't just him. The Ferraris, you know, Sainz was got collected as well. So it was quite a dramatic start. Max went off into the distance. Ish. He wasn't quite flying away, was he?
It wasn't as dominant as we had
No.
in previous races where, after a few laps it would be 10 seconds,
No.
maybe more, and you just sort of then go, cool.
Yeah, the Ferraris kept up quite well, didn't they? They were within a couple of seconds for a while. And we then had loads of overtakes. We had Gasly and Ocon were side by side.
Those two just don't give up.
They didn't ever give up. No, it's French versus French, and who is the best Frenchman on there? And well, Gasly came out on top. Not in the end of the racing because Ocon got the point, but Gasly came on top in the beginning.
It was good racing though, as Martin Brundle said on the Sky Sports. You know, it was good to see two cars with each other through multiple corners and be able to fight one another. So
And not crash.
Yeah.
Which is good, which is actually quite rare for them because usually they crash each other.
Yeah, they do have a nice history of playing
They
into
do
one
like it. But that new lightweight chassis from Alpine, they've obviously put some upgrades on the car, looking better. It's looking, I'll tell you what, it's jumped further than the Williams has and all that. It seems to have kind of moved the upper back of the field, not in the midfield yet, I don't think, but in the upper back of the field, and they're now getting a point.
Yeah, and I think a few races ago, they looked dead and buried, didn't they?
Oh,
they were the back marker team. And now you're thinking, well, maybe from this race onwards, they can have the final points positions.
It'd be good to see, just like Haas have the last couple of races, haven't they? They've got the final points from most races, and now it looks like Alpine are kind of in that position now, aren't they? So onwards and upwards for Alpine, they got a point, very good for them.
No, I think it makes a bit more of a better viewing for them as a team.
It does.
And I mean, when you've got drivers of Ocon and Gasly's, they're good drivers.
Very good drivers. And
you can't have those particular drivers going around at the back of the grid.
No, you can't.
You can't for long because they'll look at other teams.
Of course.
Other options.
And there's already been things flying around with Gasly and looking at other things. So no, you've got to either make your car better or you're going to lose drivers and you're going to get like a Logan Sargent or a Lance Stroll put in that seat instead because they'll be the only ones desperate for a seat. But yeah, no, that was good stuff from Alpine. Very good. We then, the Ferraris, they looked quite good. I'm going to jump from team to team. It's kind of a random order of teams, so we're just going to go through. Ferrari looked okay. They didn't look better, and they didn't look worse. They just kind of were what we thought they'd be.
I thought they were better at the beginning of the race.
When the tyres were cool.
Yeah, than what it was at the end. And I think that's been sort of the case for a few races now. Ferrari have looked better at the beginning, and as the race goes on, they seem to just pull away.
Yep.
And who knows? You know, maybe it's just something within the, whether it be tyres, whether it be the car itself.
Carlos, though, was quite funny at the start, telling basically Ferrari to get Leclerc out of the way, like, I'm faster. They're not going to move Leclerc out of the way. That's just not going to happen, is it? They're just going to think, we're looking into it. They're not looking into it. They're literally gone, we're not doing it. So, that was funny.
I don't think there wasn't enough of a pace difference to get
not at all.
Sainz through.
I agree. And I think a standout drive for me, though, one of the big standouts, I think, from the race was Lewis Hamilton. I must say, in that Mercedes, some of the moves on Tsunoda, around the outside, he made some really good moves. He was chasing Perez at the end, you know, did really well to keep up. I know, obviously, the DRS was helping him keep there, but he was giving Perez something to think about the whole, you know, the last stint of the race.
If I was saying anything with Mercedes, they were the opposite to Ferrari. They looked...
Yeah.
You know,
rubbish at the start, and then suddenly became good.
Yeah, and it's really odd how it seemed that hard tyre worked more for the Mercedes, and for the Ferrari it just seemed to...
Just die.
Yeah,
die.
It just didn't seem to be the tyre for them.
And I mean, Kevin Magnussen. Let's get to him this weekend. Wow.
It's been
what
in everything.
He's got more licence points than anything I've ever seen. It's just, he needs a new licence, I think, at this point. It's just, he caused a collision with Logan Sargent. Obviously, in the sprint race, he was holding Hamilton up, wasn't he? Dangerous driving. I think he got some stupid amount of penalties in that sprint.
I think with the sprint race, to go slightly off topic here, do you know what? I liked it. It was hard racing.
Yeah, but it was too much.
I'm an old fan of hard racing.
Too much. It was too much. It was a cause of collision.
Yeah, but there's also a sense of, we know K-Mag is a hard defender.
Very.
And should the Mercedes be battling it out with a Haas?
At the moment, yes, but no, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But in the race, there's a stupid collision with Sargent. I mean, why the hell he was going on the inside, trying to go on the inside around those long left and right handers. It was just a stupid. Why the hell would you go there? And I don't understand that. There's hard racing. There's just being a moron. Why would you go there? I mean, Sargent on his own, you know, he's having a rough time at Williams. It's his home race. I do genuinely. I know we do put him down a bit on this channel, but I felt sorry for him.
Yeah, and I mean the car was not alongside to the point where I'd go, oh yeah, well, you know, Logan should have left a space. I just thought it was a bit... Yes, Magnussen capitalised on Sargent not getting a good drive out of the first set of corners. But was he realistically ever going to overtake?
Sargent couldn't see him. The wheels were... He was far back. He wasn't side by side with him going to there. Half his car, even less than half his car, was next to Sargent. He's got to back out the corner. You're responsible as being behind and can see what's happening to back out the corner. It's not Sargent. So I think that was stupid from Magnussen. I think this weekend he's been a bit of a plum. But there we go. Right.
Should we get on to
Red Bull?
The safety car?
The safety car. Yes, let's go to the safety car.
The safety car from McLaren.
Lando Norris' saving grace.
I think it was, wasn't it?
It was.
He was very late with the tyres, and
yep.
It was...
Well, he kept them working though. He was still setting really good lap times. It wasn't like there were... even last race in... where were we last? What was the last race? China, that's the one, sorry. Even there, they were saying how good Lando's tyre management was. So he's done it again.
He went exceedingly long in the race, and it's looking like that McLaren really can keep the tyres for a long period of time, considerably longer than the other cars. And today, with the safety car, it was a no-brainer call for McLaren at that point. And it put Lando in the driving seat to win.
It put him at the front. He couldn't believe his luck in that sense. But the amazing thing was that Max Verstappen didn't have the pace to keep up with Lando, and that I know obviously he had the safety car on that, but we've seen it before when a car's gone in front of Max Verstappen and then a lap or a couple laps later he then flies past again, and then history repeats itself every time. But Lando beat him 7.5 seconds on pure merit and pace, and that is something to get excited for.
Yeah, and hopefully it's not a sort of. It'll be this race. Then it'll be a couple of races.
Don't ruin it.
Time.
Stop ruining it. Don't ruin it.
I think ultimately, if that McLaren can keep its tyres, and my concern is obviously Miami was very hot, and as we come back to Europe won't be as hot as that for another sort of
a couple of
month or so.
Yeah.
And then you're sort of looking and going, oh, our McLaren, this B-spec car they have, does it allow them to fight with Red Bull, or does it have to be hotter for them to fight with Red Bull?
I don't know. I hope so. The reason what I was saying when we were watching Ted's notebook after the race, and he was saying that the reason Verstappen was struggling so hard with the Red Bull was he couldn't get the rotation in the car, which is what he likes, which is why he can drive that car so hard. He likes the front end to be rotating very sensitively. Couldn't get that working. Now, with the other tracks like Imola coming up, he isn't going to have that problem. He's going to be able to rotate that car exactly how Max Verstappen wants to rotate that car.
I imagine it'll be reviewed pretty heavily after
Yeah,
the race
precisely.
to see what went wrong.
But will the McLaren be able to keep up with him? And will it be able to, even at the maximum push that Red Bull can do, will that new upgraded McLaren be able to keep up? That is the $1,000,000 question at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, if that is the case, then potentially there is a season where, I mean, we're only, 6 races in, and so we're a quarter of the way through the season. So we potentially could see
a resurrection of another team of McLaren. Yeah. I mean, Ferrari have tried and failed, haven't they? Really, let's be honest. I don't see Ferrari going to be. They haven't. McLaren have challenged Red Bull the closest now by quite far, I think, and Ferrari can't get there at the moment. So
I think with Ferrari, always seem to have sort of one of these.
It's okay. You look so depressed whenever you talk about Ferrari. Well, it's okay.
It's one of these things with history, isn't it? They just seem to be the second team that will have a brief encounter with becoming first, or trying to become first. And whereas Australia, you saw Ferrari win because they were essentially there to pick up the pieces from Verstappen's brakes. In Miami, you saw that completely change because McLaren were there to pick up where Max couldn't. And he was on the track, and some people might say the bollard did some damage, but
we saw the slow-mo. We didn't damage this car.
It didn't look like it did a huge amount of damage,
if any.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe that at all.
And if that is the case with the tyres and heating up with then there's some big problems there with races to come.
Well, we'll see. I guess we've got Europe coming up now. It's our favourite part of the season that we love Europe, so we're looking forward to it. But it was great to see Lando win his first race, and I think it's going to give him a confidence boost. He hasn't got that leaning over him now. You know, he had that record, didn't he, of having the most podiums without a win before the race. That's now been gone. 21st British racing driver to win as well. Brilliant for him, and I think no matter who you support, whether you're Ferrari or McLaren or Mercedes or Haas, you would all be happy that Lando's won the race and got his win.
It's nice because obviously Sochi, you felt like it was taken away.
I felt his pain. I wasn't even in the car.
Yeah, but with Miami, we often see this with drivers. They'll win one race, and that will then have a snowball effect, and they'll win a few more. So I'm hoping this season, that he gets a few more under his belt.
That'd be nice for us to watch as well.
Because it will be more interesting than watching Verstappen rack up the numbers.
Exactly, and hopefully this season will actually potentially be closer. That's all we want. It's just a close championship. We don't, even if Max wins it, but has to fight for it. It's better than not having to.
As a Ferrari fan, obviously McLaren coming up, and they look more in the ascendancy than Ferrari do at the moment.
I think you should wear this, to be honest with you, Mr. Ferrari fan. There we go. No. There you go. I've changed him. I've changed him.
No. McLaren are still the enemy.
Suits you, yeah. No, better than red. It suits. It's better than red, yeah.
They're still the enemy. But I think I don't really at this point, having 2 seasons of Red Bull domination, I don't really care who takes the fight to Red Bull as long as there is a fight.
as long as someone could do something.
Yeah. Whether that's just McLaren and Red Bull, whether
Yeah.
that's McLaren, Ferrari,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
Red Bull,
Thoroughly agree.
I don't care as long as we're not sort of going, who's gonna get second, because we all know who's gonna get first. So.
Exactly. And Piastri as well. You know, did good drive, very good drive. Just changing it. And the other McLaren, he had a very good drive. Very unlucky with Carlos, accidentally making the car do a bit of a pirouette and taking off his. It was
a bit of a clumsy overtake.
Oh, sorry.
Do we keep that in the uncut?
Yeah, we'll keep it in the uncut.
Oh, okay.
It's all part of it. Yes, he had a bit of a rotation issue going into when he was attacking Piastri and ripped part of his front wing, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a bit of a clumsy move, wasn't it?
Bit of a clumsy move.
From Sainz.
Desperate, I think. He was a little bit desperate, wasn't
As
he?
Martin says, it's a day late and a dollar short.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, it was. I think it was just born out of frustration, that move.
That's what I'm saying. I think he was just fed up. He'd already had Piastri push him off the track, didn't he? He was already frustrated about that.
I wasn't buying that one.
No, neither was I. I think it was just a bit of a moan from Carlos there. And I think that then kind of was a catalyst. It was a couple of laps after, he's getting more and more frustrated. And then ended up doing something silly. And Piastri could have had a top 5 finish at least, and ended up being, was it 14th? 14th, I think it was. 13th or 14th, one of the two. And ended up out the points, which is a shame on such a strong weekend for McLaren.
Yeah. Hopefully McLaren can take this forward. I'd like them to take it forward to Imola in the European races. So
I agree.
So we have. I don't know whether I would put McLaren as the second fastest team at the moment.
I would. I'm doing. So look, not the fastest team. Now we're the second fastest team.
Well, if you do it in Imola, I'll probably say you are second fastest.
We will do it in Imola. We will do it in Imola. I have belief we'll do it, and we'll go to Ferrari's back door and we'll beat them and all.
True, you will be in Ferrari. That would be exceedingly embarrassing, but no, I don't know. I'm not.
Stop trying to give yourself hope. You know we're the second best team now.
Probably are.
Yeah. Anyway, yes. Right. Anyway, so that's our reaction to the Grand Prix. Should we finish there? I think that's enough to talk about, isn't it? Yeah. You're probably bored of my voice now.
Yeah, I am bored of your voice.
Yeah.
I'm listening to it for hours.
Oh God, it does my head in my own voice. Yeah, thanks for watching our first uncut reaction to a Grand Prix. If you prefer this format, which if you got to the end, you must have enjoyed this video somewhat. Don't forget to give us a like, comment, and give us a subscribe for more. And if you like this format, we'll carry on doing it because I quite like this format. It's quite nice to do it in one take, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it flows more.
Let's do it. Right, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you, well, in between Imola, but we'll also see you for reaction at Imola. Ta-da.
Bye.
Bye.